now in the boardroom, we are hearing from the New York Stock Exchange's Chief Development Officer getting ready to ring in his alma mater, introducing women's basketball head coach Geno Auriemma for the UConn Women's Huskies. Let's take a listen to Chris Taylor in the boardroom.
Coach Auriemma, it's pretty easy to know where to start in terms of his litany of accomplishments. Just you don't know where to end, Coach, because there are so many things that you've accomplished in this game. But in 1985, when I arrived at Storrs, I will tell you the number of women's basketball games that I went to see can be counted on like one finger. Literally, it wasn't a thing to do at UConn, and I didn't realize this, but until Coach Auriemma arrived, UConn had one winning season in women's basketball in its entire history. Here we are, 40 years later, Coach, and UConn women's basketball is appointment TV for those who went to UConn, live in Connecticut, live in the region, and really nationally. They understand when they put on a UConn women's basketball game that they're going to watch basketball the way it is meant to be played, with passion and teamwork that is really unmatched and unrivaled. And this year's championship was truly a special one. I think a lot of people had counted UConn women's basketball out as the dominant program in this country, and maybe even counted Coach Auriemma and Coach Daly and his great staff out as well. Well, they proved those skeptics wrong. The 12th national championship. But think about this. Since Coach has been at the University of Connecticut, 19 undefeated conference seasons, kind of unimaginable, 6 undefeated seasons, and the coach also just threw on a couple of world championships and Olympic gold medals to his resume as well. Truly, truly amazing accomplishments for Coach Auriemma. So from all of us that watch and follow UConn basketball so closely, thank you for making so many nights so enjoyable for us. And there's nothing better, and Commissioner Ackerman and I were talking about this earlier, nothing better when things come together. You know, the grind of a season is real. It's a long, long season. Injuries happen, people happen in terms of ups and downs, but watching a team peak at the right time is truly, truly a joy to watch. And this country experienced another great UConn women's basketball team this year. And Coach, you know, you were initiated or welcomed to the Hall of Fame in 2006. That's kind of supposed to be, you're done. You've actually won more national championships after you were put into the Hall of Fame than before. You are still going strong and have that passion as well. So, folks, let's give a round of applause. I'd like to call up Coach Auriemma and Dr. Merrick to the stage, please.
He wants me to talk first because I'm going to be shorter. Thank you, everybody, for coming. And Chris, you're the best host ever, but you have to observe Chris when he cheers for UConn. There is no more passionate person. You think he's going to go through the ceiling. Thank you, everybody, for being with us today. You know, we have a great university, and university is great because of all of you. Each of you strive each day to promote this university, to make this university better. But there is no better person than Geno Auriemma. And it's hard to describe him, because these days we don't have the leaders for 40 years who are true leaders. And who are the leaders? People who put every day what they say into action. And Geno is on the court with team. He builds the trust. He loves them. He cares about them. He gives some feedback, but they all grow up. And the most important thing is the experience and the mentor that you have. And the mentor that Geno is a life coach and life mentor. Who is going to retire first, Geno or Novak Djokovic? I don't want to predict. But I want them to go strong each year and each season. And thank you, everybody. And please welcome great coach Geno Auriemma.
Well, you know, they said that I'm the oldest person to ever win a national championship in college basketball. And that's because most other people are smart enough to know when to get out and go on with the rest of their lives. And speaking of Djokovic, he's not been winning lately. So I think I should get out before that starts to happen, when we,
That's what they told
you either, they say there's very little difference between a parade and a posse, right? You're always in the front, but there's two different things happening behind you. So I think for us, it has been an incredible run, as you said. It's maybe it's an immigrant thing, we have some immigrants in here. Anybody raise your hand? There's one over there. There's one over there. Okay. And you watch the video of New York City, the New York Stock Exchange, and what it's meant to this country, what it's meant to the world, and an awful lot of people had a hand in taking a small thing and making it into the best in the world at what it is. And at UConn, we're kind of a little bit of a smaller version of that. We've taken something that was a small thing, a small regional university that a lot of you went to back in the day, and it's become world renowned. And it started as just a New England university, and now it's a national, worldwide university. And sports has had a lot to do with that. Obviously, basketball has had a lot to do with that. And we continue to bring in great people. Our president, as you know, is high energy, a lot of ideas. She keeps a lot of people up at night trying to figure out how to implement her ideas. She never sleeps, so she makes sure no one else sleeps. But everything starts at the top, right? You have to have tremendous leadership, and you have to have tremendous support, and it works its way down. And we have a high energy, incredibly impactful president who sets a tone on campus for everything that we want to be, and everything we should be, and everything that we can be, and make sure that we live that every single day. So people ask me, do we get tired of this? Well, when we were winning championships every year, it wasn't tiring because different people were doing it every year. It wasn't the same people every year. And now we went 9 years without winning a championship, and people started to think that we would never win another one again because it is so fragile, these things. You try to hold on to something as best you can, but nothing lasts forever, right? So for it to happen again 9 years later, and I tell my players this all the time, that it doesn't matter to me, basically. I'm the same person today that I was a month ago before we won our 12th national championship. I'm exactly the same. Nothing's changed in my life. Okay, I don't have anything today that I didn't have then. But for every one of my players, when you watch them when we got back on campus and the way they walk around, the way people treat them, the way they behave, just the way they carry themselves, their whole lives have changed for the rest of their life. Nothing is the same for them once you experience what it feels like to win a national championship. Because for as long as they live, they will always be national champions. And you don't know if they'll ever have another opportunity. Some of them might, but certainly there's no guarantees. And what this means to all of us is we come down here, and it's not about me, and it's not about my team necessarily, but it's about the people who appreciate what we do. It's about you and your ability to enjoy what we do. Because when things like this happen, like it happened last year on the men's side, and it happened the year before, just 3 years in a row now, that makes you, as a UConn alum, a UConn supporter, that makes you bigger than you were last year, bigger than you were the year before, because everything that we do reflects on you. And that, to me, is the biggest thing that we get out of this. We get to live it every day, but you're sitting there watching, and you're sitting there cheering, and you're sitting there supporting. And if you weren't there, there would be no us. So we're here because of you, and you're here because of us. So it's a great partnership. It's a great endeavor that we all have here together. And it's an honor and a privilege to be invited here to ring the bell. I like when we ring the bell in the morning. I don't always like when we're asked to ring the bell at night, because most people that work here are happier in the morning than they are at night. So I'm looking forward to going out there and starting the day off the right way. So thank you all for coming here. Enjoy. This is an unbelievable place. And we're just a great organization in a great building. And thank you for having us. Thank you all.